Welcome to another edition of the Quip Corners Book Corner. You'll see the bio of my next guest, right after this. And it's an interesting book. You'll find out what I mean when you join me in the Quip Corner. See you in a bit. Welcome to the Quip Corners Book Corner, Dr. Bolu.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm delighted that I can not just have you in the Quip Corners Book Corner, but I can also refer to you as a doctor. Congratulations on getting your PhD.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. You're one of those that made it happen.
Well, thank you for letting us be part of that story.
You're welcome.
So you're an author, definitely. That's why you're in the book corner. And I know you have more than one book. So which of your books do you want to talk to us about today?
We gladly talk about the newest in the series, which my quest for Nigeria's rebirth. So
okay, before you tell us what is in the book, can you please tell us why you wrote the book? What was the driving force? What was your motivation?
Yeah, one of the critical motivation where I seem to even concentrate a lot of my writings on Nigeria is because I see Nigeria as the hope of the Black man all over the world. So what we could do is to continuously, engage the nation to see this huge responsibility that is resting on its shoulders, so that they can get things right. If they get it right, they can fix so many things in Nigeria. I believe things will be fixed in Africa, and the joy, the hope of a Black man will be enhanced.
Ooh, and that is quite a burden to bear, right?
It is quite one. And we should be conscious of that burden, and everybody must play one part or the other to ensuring that that burden is discharged at the final analysis. Because it's not just bearing the burden must be discharged for the good of the people, so that the people of the country, then the continent, can live a meaningful life, a life that is rewarding, a life that is motivating, that we can say, okay, we are contributing meaningfully to humanity. We are not just narrow receivers of aids, of drop off here and there, but we are active contributors to humanity.
Yeah.
So that's the spirit behind that burden, not just body bearing for the sake of bearing burden, but for the sake of effectively discharging that burden to benefit the majority of the people.
I can hear the passion in your voice.
Thank you very much, man.
Oh, wow. So now tell us a bit about the book and what's in the book, please.
Yeah, the book is about so many issues that we need to address. As you know, I'm an accountant. I started the book off by, recommending a different budgeting approach, which I call purpose-driven budgeting system. That is not, you should not just start putting figures together, incremental budgeting and all that, but we should be able to have a purpose we are using the budget to address. And of course, before we can do that, we must sit down and define certain purposes, or even if there's one purpose I want to achieve, to ensuring that, okay, our budget and energy is directed towards achieving that purpose. And I went on to discuss some issues that could be some hindrances, even when we are adopting this purpose-driven budgeting. For instance, the civil service, how it has been neutralized from the time of Muritala. I did some kind of historical analysis of how the journey is, where people now, because of the instability of tenure, a director come to office, is not interested in what he can contribute. He's interested more in the amount of money he can make, because he can be sacked tomorrow. You can just be listening to news and they say, oh, it should hand over to the most senior person in the ministry. And these are the things that happened during the Muchala era, and it has escalated the situation in Nigeria. Then now we don't have what we call street level bureaucrats, I mean, whereby government is fed on the street. A lot of people just hold themselves in the air conditioned office, and they are literally sharing our money, minding what their responsibility to the people should be. I discussed that. Then I also discussed one issue which is very important, which I'm also very passionate about. That is maybe perhaps that's the portion I'll be reading, which is chapter 6. The issue of electricity. If we don't fix electricity, we are going nowhere. I made a presentation to ACFA Port Harcourt about how we can leverage our technology. But I let them know that, look, whatever advantage we can have will be limited if we don't fix our electricity, because technologies are available all over the place, but you need 24/7 electricity to drive them. So as more people are agitating towards 2023, this book could be a handbook for a very reasonable politicians who want to serve the people, because there are so many ideas here. They may not be all the ideas that you need, but the ideas here can be a good template to which you can now create a good governance environment for the benefit of the people, which democracy is supposed to be. Yes. So that is the subject matter. Then I also did a little historical excursion to our moral values, how we were not as terrible as this. I started an example when I was going to secondary school. We were as teenagers. My school was situated between two towns, and farmers would drop their sugarcane and put 1 kobo, label it 1 kobo or 2 kobo, and students as rascals we were, if permit me to use that word, we will pick the sugarcane and we drop our money. There are some aberrants here and there, but any student who made an attempt to steal, we will catch them and we will give them some kind of jungle justice, which is not the best today. There was no CCTV, but there was that moral constraint. There was that collective
responsibility and self-policing.
Responsibilities. People don't just steal. The same thing, the farmer will put his yam on the road, we put his banana on the road, and people will come and buy and drop the money. Yes. And somebody else will not even come and pick the money or steal the yam or the product. Yeah. It's still the same country. But today, oh, you can't even do that. When I first left home, where I was living, the house is the door is made with sink. I will leave the door open. I go to work from 7:30 to 3:30, and nobody will enter. You can't do that now. Even with burglary proof, with iron gate, they are still breaking into it. So we have to, look back at where did we miss it.
Yeah.
So we have a way of reconnecting ourselves to be able to give back to humanity. Africa, black man, Nigerians, we owe a lot to humanity. And we cannot just be somebody like a beggar. We must win ourselves this beggarly disposition. We are talking of COVID vaccines for instance now. We depend on other nations to donate to us. We are not even making an attempt to produce anything. Production has literally stopped in Nigeria. I mean, when you talk of real production, it's almost stopped. Wow. And that is why everything from everywhere comes into the country, and everybody just think about money. So all these are the issues which the books, try to discuss. Of course, a book like this cannot be exhaustive, because the purpose are so many. I just speak an aspect of it as, okay, let me address this few aspects. That is what the book is all about.
Well, thank you.
If you look at the picture.
Yes.
This picture is the topmost. This is where we are. The land is like a drought, unproductive, unyielding. But this is where we should be. If you get this right, land, a green land, a land of fruitfulness, a land with flowing with milk and honey. So we see that majority of this map is sitting here on this unpleasant ground, whereas we should be here. So if you get it right, we move from here to here.
You're right. Well, thank you. And when you were sharing, about the different dimensions of the book, you alluded to a section that you were going to read. Can you please read that to us?
Okay, yeah, in chapter 6, let me go to chapter 6. What I say in chapter 6, like I was talking about electricity because I said the politics of national grid and the modular alternative. See, I said from beginning, not many people had ever said that issue of electricity, so electricity supply will still occupy the front burner of our national discourse in 2020. However, the reality is that we are still far away from achieving an uninterrupted power supply. Sometimes ago, in some clips on social media, Ajuri, that's the special assistant to the president, was saying that government plans for a stable electricity supply in Nigeria. We always have planning. They will do this, they will do this. At this juncture, we need to ask some questions such as, what happened to all the power stations? There used to be a power station in major town, major cities, before the national grid, malaise came into the place, if I can call it. What happened to all the power stations scattered across the whole country? Were the generating plants sold or abandoned to rot away with overgrown bushes? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. How about the spare parts, the fuel pumps, and the offices, including their furniture? Were they dismantled or what happened to them? The many spare parts in the central store Oshodi, were they dispensed with or they remain, occupying space and becoming obsolete in the process? So, apart from the above, can we sincerely now evaluate how much the policy or politics of national grid, because every city, every village want to be linked to the national grid, but the national grid doesn't have sufficient infrastructure, generation, transmission capacity, or distribution capacity. Where is everything centralized? When the center has no power, no capacity to produce what everybody needs. Why not break it into smaller subsets so that people can fix the problem within their locality? Apart from the above, can we sincerely now evaluate how much the politics of the national grid has contributed to the darkness pervading the entire nation? It was this same policy or politics that gave birth to a new and thriving generator business industry that has become hydra-headed and difficult to tame. In short, people often allege that it's the importance of generators that are frustrating government efforts towards achieving uninterrupted power supply. How erroneous can that allegation be? Had that industry existed before the national grid menace? If not, what gave impetus to the viability of the industry that we can now conveniently label its operators saboteurs? Did they not just exploit the glaring gap created by bad planning or wrong implementation of an unreasonable policy or both? So those are the kind of things I discussed.
Yeah.
And now when I think our ultimate solution does not lie in an integrated approach, but a modified modular system that will not lump the whole nation again into any defective integration with nothing tangible to achieve. The Nigeria Telecommunication Limited, NITEL, with all its infrastructure, achieve anything meaningful or to the proper deregulation of that industry? Absolutely no. Was the Nigeria Postal Service, NIPOS, not forced to reinvent itself when its future become gloomy because of new technology and stiff competition? Are there no lessons for us to learn from all these national experiences? With a modular system, we will be saved the frequency of system collapse that throws the entire nation into darkness. With a modular system that covers specific areas, we will perhaps no longer wait at the office of an electricity distribution company for a staff to fuel the generator before they can issue us an official receipt. With the modular system, problems are easily localized and remedied. With the modular system, electricity failure in Ekpe, for instance, may not affect the supply situation in Korodu and vice versa. Is it too late to enter the contract with Siemens? There was this contract with Siemens that for generation, distribution, and transmission, integrated system, so to address the problem, which I think is not a solution. Well, I would not know. Perhaps if the details of the agreement are available to the major stakeholders are agreed on, there may be room for sufficient modifications if the need arises. Finally, I said, if we are truly desirous of a permanent solution to our perennial electricity crisis, it is high time to reverse the extant laws governing electricity generation, transmission, and distribution, and allow for the modulator system as against the current integrated system that has failed us thus far. So we need to take the bull by the horn, because if you want solution, the system we have used before that did not work, we can't continue in it.
Yes.
Keep on modifying the same system, bring it, it was Mambila Plateau, it's going to generate 5,000, it's going to generate this. And I did some work. Our estimated electricity is about 25,000 megawatts. The generation capacity we have today is about 12,500 megawatts, which is about 50% of our need. But active generation is less than 5,000 megawatts.
Oh, wow.
And out of that 5,000 megawatts, because the transmission line is aging, most of them are over 60 years. There's a lot, out of those few that generate, about 30% of them is lost to transmission because of weak infrastructure. So at the end of the day, the effective generation is just about 3,000 out of 50,000. So we are far away from anywhere. So, and now the people now are left with no choice to be generating their own electricity by themselves. Yeah, it may sound good, but what about the environmental application?
Yes.
The exhaust
Emissions
every night.
Yes.
When I was in Lagos, when I enter my street in the night, there's this upstairs I normally look at. If that place is dark, it means everybody's on generator, because it's one house that they are not using generator. So even when I see light on the street, I am not sure that it's not generator. But when I look straight into that building, I know, okay, if there is light there, then there's light from NEPA, whatever they call them. So these are the kind of thing. And if you look at so many other factors that relate to this electricity, let me give you an example. A young guy who learned how to be a barber, wants to open a barber shop. It will buy, even with 1 or 2 clippers and not some combs, some scissors, it can kick off. But he cannot do it until he has money to buy a generator. So there are major investment today, whether it's a barber or as a tailor or as an hairdresser, is generator. You are investing in generating plant.
Yes.
And of course, forget about, I mean, you add to the environmental asset. Then the cost of service will increase because you have to recover your costs.
For sure.
When you are a business to make profits. Simple logic.
Yeah.
So, and when you look at if analysis is feasible, you see that the multiplier effect of this is enormous. For instance, you are a working class family, and instead of going to the market every weekend, you can go. You are in Lagos. You can go to my 12 once in a week, in a month, and you can stock your deep freezer.
Yes.
And the stress, even the health benefits of bulk purchase.
You're right.
And all that things. There's so many things that I can go on and on and speak
about. I know. Like you said earlier, it's a hydra-headed problem, you know. So I'm curious. I'm sorry?
Okay. I say it is hydra-headed.
Yeah. When you started, you said that you feel that when the issue in Nigeria is sorted out, or the burden is discharged, those were your words.
Yeah.
It would help not just the country, it will help the continent and the world. So what I'm hearing is this book you have is not only for Nigerians.
Yes, I can say that because if Nigeria is fixed, it's not Nigeria alone, and Nigerians alone that will benefit.
So what would you think, or what would you say is the collective responsibility of Nigerians and non-Nigerians in bearing this burden as we bring this to a close?
I will say that the body force is, I will say in local parlance, that Nigeria must bear the burden first. Because if you have a load, you have to leave that load before somebody can help you.
Yes.
So I think it's at this time we have to shut our mind from outsider first. Let us start lifting this burden ourselves. And of course, when we do, people will come to our assistance. If you leave your luggage and say, okay, come and help me carry this luggage and put on my head, likely you will not see anybody to do it for you. But if you are carrying that burden, and even people pass by and say, oh, you are not able to carry this, let me offer you a helping hand. It becomes easier to bring outsiders. So I think the focus should be on us to find indigenous means of fixing this problem ourselves. Then definitely help will come.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank
I mean,
you.
that's my way of thinking, though.
Super. Well, thank you. And, definitely sounds like a book that a lot of people should be reading. So how can people get copies of your book? Where can they obtain copies of it?
I have posted a lot of, in Lagos, in Nigeria, for instance, I'm posting on social media so that I can be contacted. Outside the country, I'm already live on Amazon, both Kindle and paper copy. And if you're in Calgary here, just hold out to me. I have some copies with me. And I can drop it or I can post it to you here in Calgary. Even across Canada, I mean, especially if you want it autographed, then you talk to me. Then I send it to you, autograph copy to you. But otherwise, you can get it on Amazon. Either you are in UK, you are in Canada, you are in US. People are already buying on Amazon, actually. Then if you are in Nigeria and you don't like hard copy or soft copy like this, you want to read on soft copy on your phone, Okada is on Okada books. And it's even with a reduced price on Okada books. You can just log in there and do your purchase and read it on your phone or your laptop.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's helpful information. We'll add that information in the description box below the video so people know how to get copies of your book.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me again.
And thank you for joining me in the Quick Corners Book Corner.
Thank you.
Right.
Bringing a lot. You are able to integrate native system with the Canada system, because most of your coups, I can see a lot of native wisdom and intelligence in it. Maybe because I'm the village boy, so I always look for what speaks to you.
Well, thank you. It's nice to hear that you watch the channel and you are encouraged and inspired by it.
I think you should know one of your number one. If at least many of us will be number one fans. I don't have to repeat that again.
I appreciate the support. Thank you very much, Dr. Bolu. And thanks again for joining me today.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Wow, that was a lot. I can't but say thank you to Dr. Bolu for at least trying to tackle this Hydra-headed issue. And I like how he continued to say it's a burden that needs to be discharged. And you need to take hold of it and start somewhere. Information on how you can get copies of his book, including autographed copies, will be in the description box below. I look forward to reading your reviews on his book. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you in the Quip Corner again. Bye now.